Hey everyone, I'm Scott. Welcome to HEB's Cooking Connection virtual cooking classes. We're excited you've joined us here today. We have a lot going on today. Today is all about our different kind of twist on tailgating. I'll explain that in a second. Before we go anywhere though, I want to make sure, oh, you know what, Charlotte, before I introduce you, I didn't even ask you to check what's in my teeth. Rob, I don't think we're going to be able to go with the extreme close-up we planned today because I don't think I'd check what was in my teeth. I feel like I've got something there.
Nope, you're good to go.
Here's what it is. With me as always, the fact checker, my timekeeper, my moderator, the general question answer.
Forgot tooth checker. I'm your tooth checker.
We'll get there. We'll get there, everybody. Patience. It's just starting. If you have any questions, Charlotte Samuel is joining us in the chat. She's there as always, my friend and confidant, always here to back me up, always here to keep me on task and check my facts. We got a lot going on today. It is all about some tailgating. And this is not necessarily if you're tailgating at an actual arena or a sports complex, like necessarily outside. This is also like if you happen to be tailgating at your house with other guests and things going on. We've got some fun recipes we're going to show you. And also, some of those recipes are actually perfect for easy weeknight dinners. We're going to show you some ways to kind of take those great recipes that are perfect, kind of like little handheld foods that you would use for a tailgating or any kind of get-together. And turn them into a simple weeknight meal. One in particular I love. It's football season. It's starting. It starts this week. If you've got a fantasy draft, you've already got your team. You're ready to go. We are ready to party with you guys whenever you're ready. Obviously, if you go to HEB, any HEB, we have all kinds of stuff for your tailgating needs. We've got all the stuff that you can grab off the shelf that is grab and go. Everything from charcuterie boards to, what else? Veggie trays, all the stuff in baker, all these great things, all there, ready to go for you. If you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, welcome. We are happy you are here. Special fact about Facebook, fun fact about Facebook is you'll see a lot of great stuff as we're talking about tailgating, and you can see some of the great stuff here. We've got our Cody chest, ice chest. This thing is amazing. I'm going to try and steal it, but I know I'll get tased if I walk out of here with it, so I can't try and steal it. Maybe the storage containers I'll be able to walk away with. Who knows? All this great stuff ready to go. It is ready to accompany you on your tailgating extravaganza wherever you go, whether it be home or on the road. A lot of great stuff. Don't forget, if you're on Facebook, you can click on the items that you see, like those there, and it'll take you to a website, probably our website, and you can pay for it all. I don't know the technical aspects of everything, but I do know if you're on Facebook, you click it, you go, you pay, and you're in the money, and it's on its way to you in real time. All right, we got a lot going on. We're going to get right into this. We're going to make one of my favorite dishes that I like to do for parties and different things I like that's just kind of an easy kind of finger food is first recipe is a little steak, bean, and smoked cheese sopes. So sopes are, it's like Mexican street food. It's fantastic. It's these little guys. We sell them, I'm going to say this, we sell them at most HEBs. Obviously, every HEB is different. So if you can't find this at your local HEB, you can always go online. It'll help you find the store that you can actually find these sopes. When I first moved to Texas from California, I was working at a restaurant in Austin that was doing a lot of interior Mexican food, very upscale, really cool. We made sopes, and we put everything on them, and they're one of my favorite foods, and they're one of my go-tos for like a fast dinner because tonight we're going to do a little bean and steak on there, but they're literally, they're fantastic. They're these great little corn. Charlotte, do you do a lot of sopes?
I do.
You ever do? They're so great. Look at this little guy. So it's a perfect little shaped bowl. It's the perfect, delivery method for anywhere.
It's like a tortilla that has sides.
It is, but
it holds all the goodness in there,
yes,
and you can just.
It gets crispy. You can fry it. You can bake it. I'm going to bake ours to get them a little bit crispy. So we're going to start with that. Let's get this because it takes about 20 minutes to get this done. So I want to make sure we're good to go on this. So all it starts with, I got a little oil here. My sopes, there's 10 per package. I can tell you 10 will feed a family of 3 if you have a hearty eater like myself
I feel like
coming over.
Finger foods are a must when it comes to tailgating. Like stuff you can eat with your hands.
So
I don't want to mess with a plate and a fork.
If you're tailgating or if you're at a house and you're doing a little football thing, you want to be able to have food that you can do this with. That you can walk around with your drink and you can, like you got to be able to move.
Well, sometimes I want to have food in both
around.
hands. Let's just be.
What if you double up, you mean? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Like double the food, so no drink? Or are you drinking like this, like you're holding it like this, the drink?
Maybe I have one of those really cool hats that has the straws. Cans.
Charlotte, I knew that you did things differently at your house, and now it's all starting to connect. That you've got the what is in that? Rosé? Is it beer? What's your go-to?
Rosé does come in a can, yes.
Look, it doesn't have to be just
That's a whole
canned.
bottle of wine.
I was gonna say, you could put an entire bottle in there probably. I mean, the straws are pretty deep.
Yep.
All right, a little nonstick spray, a little olive oil spray, whatever you wanna do, just to get them nice and crispy. Into the oven, about 375, about 15 to 20 minutes. Just kind of check them. They'll start to puff up a little bit. But now that we've got that going, we're gonna make our, so bacon wrapped dates with manchego cream. So earlier in rehearsal, we talked about this being the devil's on horseback. I don't know that we ever got confirmation on it.
You are correct, chef.
I stand corrected. Devil's on horseback. So the devil, what is the devil on horseback, Charlotte? Will you just tell me?
It's essentially any dried fruit wrapped in bacon.
Wait, so any dried fruit?
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be a date. Yeah.
I was lied to. I always thought that in order to be devil on horseback, it had to be a date. I didn't realize it could be a prune. Somehow I don't think prunes.
I don't want to enjoy that snack, but
don't sound. I feel like we're just going to stick with dates then.
Yep.
We'll just do that. So I have my dates here now. Fun fact about me, which it's not going to be a trivia thing later. So feel free to forget this little fact. I used to hate dates. We lived in California. We had a date farmer's daughter. Let's think about that. How do I just say that? There was a
no. Tell us this story, please.
This is going to be. It sounds more exciting than it actually is, and it's not that exciting. But it's there was a girl who lived upstairs from us whose father was a date farmer. There it is. See how I connected it? Didn't sound so scandalous now. He was a date farmer, and we always used to get dates, and I was always like, I can't do it. I don't like them. They're like, it just reminds me of a prune. I'm not throwing any shade on prunes. I don't think prunes they're good. They have their place. But dates were just never a thing. I was like, it's always weird. I don't want to do them. But I learned to realize, I had a doctor going, hey, you need to eat dates because they have a great source of magnesium. I was like, I started doing, he said, refrigerate them. If you don't like dates, refrigerate them. These guys, I'm just using the fresh medjool dates. There's different ones. There's the newer dates. These are great. They're already pitted. Organic or non-organic, doesn't matter, whichever one you want to do. And refrigerate them. And then later on when they get nice and cold and you chew them, they're very pulley like caramel. They taste a lot more caramelly than when they're just at room temp. So I recommend refrigerating them, and they're a great treat when you need something sweet that has a high amount of magnesium. And you know that I'm a amateur doctor / nutritionist, and I'll say that that's the best way to go for dessert.
You can definitely puree dates and use them like the paste to sweeten like brownies and things with
Sticky
chocolate
toffee
in them.
pudding.
They have a little bit of fiber and lots of minerals in them and vitamins.
All right, we're going to make a manchego cream sauce, but here's the thing. So I have a very small food processor that we almost broke trying to make this because it's a thicker cream. And then we're like, we'll just use our big Roku that's giant commercial. And I was like, that's not cool, because then if you don't have it, it may be different. So we just went ahead and made, through the magic of television and whipping it up, we made 2 different versions. The manchego cream sauce is very, very simple. So in order to make the devil's on horseback, rather than just wrapping the date in bacon, which is fantastic, we're going to add another little kind of element to it. So manchego cheese, if you don't know anything about manchego cheese, it's really, really good. It's a Spanish cheese. I'm using the 6-month. There's a Don Juan. Let me grab my cheese so you can see it. At your local H-E-B deli, or if you have a cheese shop where our cheese specialists are at your local H-E-B, you will find there's a couple different kinds of manchego, and they come in these wheels. They've got that skin on them. Probably can see that different color here. This is the 6-month.
It's wax.
The darker one is the 12-month, yes. A little rind on there, the wax rind. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Charlotte. Fact checking as always. I use the 6-month for this, a little bit creamier. Also very, very good to use the 12-month if you want to. It's a little bit drier, but it has a little more of that kind of, like, I would call it kind of like that.
A sharpness to it?
Yes, there's the word, sharpness. Sharpness to it. So I went ahead and grated mine. You're going to get 2 cups of manchego cheese, 8 ounces of plain whipped cream cheese. Why plain whipped cream cheese? I don't like, again, I'm not casting shade, maybe a little bit of shade, but on the bricked cream cheese, nothing wrong with brick cream cheese. But I feel like a lot of the recipes I like to use that call for cream cheese, I'll use whipped because there's already air in it. It mixes much easier, and it just takes everything much easier. So I like to use whipped cream cheese in this. If you like the old block style, that's
you
totally
don't
fine.
have to let it come completely to room temperature either.
Who has time for that?
Already,
right?
Yes, and I also have a question
Yes.
from one of our viewers on Facebook. Leslie asks, how do you keep dates from getting hard?
Dry?
Yeah.
I honestly will throw them in the fridge.
Okay.
And I think they'll still get, I mean, they get drier as they kind of go. I don't know, and this is honestly, Leslie, I don't know if you could put like a wet towel over them. I doubt that, but I would say that I put them in the fridge, keep them sealed in an airtight container. I think that's the best way to do it. But honestly, in the fridge, even when they start to get dry, there's this beautiful like pull to them. It's like a caramel. I can't explain it. They're really, really good. So I keep them in the fridge. That's where I keep my dates. So you can try that and see if it makes a difference for you.
You just want to keep them out of the air, I think.
Yep.
So airtight container is always best. And then if they do get dry, you can always reconstitute them or soak them in like.
I was just gonna say, if you're gonna cook with them,
juice, water, liqueur, something like that.
Throw them in some water. Give them a little dip in some water, or throw them in a little hot water to kind of reconstitute. They'll get real soft. Then you can use them for like sticky toffee pudding or any kind of. They're also really, really good in pecan pie. Throw a little date in there because it gives a little richness. You got the corn syrup, pecans. Think about that. So the manchego cream, really, really simple. It's a couple cloves of garlic. 2, 3, a little heavy cream, the whipped cream cheese, manchego cheese, and you are left with this beautiful manchego cream. So that is it. This is how you do this. You ready for this?
I feel like we're traveling around the world for our tailgate here. So,
You kind of
far
are.
We've been to Mexico for some street food, and now we're going to Spain with our manchego and our date. Okay.
So I want to. Rob, who does all things, the fact that you're watching me right now is all Rob's magic. He had a great piece of wisdom that was very profound that he laid on me. He said, look, you know, these foods are all great. They're all very different. And he goes, how else are you going to get somebody to stay to watch the third game of football if you don't have some intriguing snacks and some fun stuff? And I was like, you know what, Rob, that's why he does what he does.
Wait, I'm
because
sorry.
it's
I'm
that
going to
kind
need
of
some clarification
gold.
here. There's 3 games of football in one.
Well, typically on a Sunday, there's your 12 o'clock, then there's your 3 o'clock, and then you have your night games. So it's 3 games.
Okay.
Charlotte, you're going to learn a lot this season.
I learned it.
I have
today.
a feeling. All right. First of all, we're going to wrap some dates. You can see here I've kind of got a tray going of how we're doing them. So I like to wrap them really, really tight. So I have a little bit of a hack or a trick for you in order to wrap dates or wrap anything, because Devil's on Horseback said it could be any kind of fruit. I let my bacon come up to room temperature. Reason being is I'm going to show you. I have my dates right here. I'm going to open up my dates. You can pitch your own dates, but why would you when somebody's already gone through it? It's like trying to pitch your own olives. It's just kind of another mess. The date, the cream, and this is only about, it depends on how big the dates are. Every date is a little bit different. It's about a teaspoon or so. Just kind of wrap it up as best you can, just like that. Now, if I was to take just like when you cook a steak, if you took it right out of the fridge, nice and cold, and you were like, all right, I'm going to season it up and I'm going to sear it on the stove super fast. Well, it's all cold, right? So everything's all tight, it's all pulled together. So as soon as it hits the heat, it's going to kind of relax, but the outside will relax. The inside will still be nice and tight. So by the time you're done cooking the outside, the inside's still really, really raw or undercooked. And so it's the same thing with these. When I'm using really cold bacon, it's not going to stretch as much. I don't know if you can see that, Rob. This is a cold piece of bacon, whereas if I use my room temperature bacon for this is going to give me a little more pliability. See that? So I can really stretch it. So when I'm rolling my dates, just start at the end, give it a little roll here, and the fact that it's more room temperature, I can kind of stretch the bacon a little more so that you get more coverage.
Chef, are you using
black pepper bacon?
Black pepper bacon.
You can use any kind of bacon you want. I just grabbed this one because I like the black pepper. You can use, I think earlier you said you love to use the center cut. Center cut is totally fine.
Well,
I
we're
just
into
like
Dove
longer.
season, so I did some bacon wrapped Dove yesterday.
There you go.
So and I like the center cut because it's the perfect length.
It is. And it's when you use the center cut, like a couple classes ago we used the center cut bacon, it's like the perfect cup and a half if it's diced, so if you're using it. So I like to use the bacon is set out just a little bit at room temperature. Again, I can really stretch it out just to get these stuffed, and it's just the time. We saved you the trouble. We made some in advance. I made some in advance painstakingly, so you don't have to sit here and watch me try and stuff 16 different dates here. All right, same thing. We're just going to wrap it. I'm going to roll it. For some reason, I can't wrap it as good this way. Is that weird? It's my own. I start to slide and it gets all weird on me.
You're doing a great job,
hey,
by the
thanks.
way.
You know, the positive reinforcement, Charlotte.
So you want to make sure that you get the pitted dates.
Yes. Pitted dates, because these are, now you don't have to. If you want to pitch your own dates, if you like to do that, that's totally fine. But I love the medules are nice and big too. There's the newer dates that we have. The newer, I may not be saying that right, newer. They're a little bit smaller and have the pits in them. We also sell those at HEB if you're up for a challenge, if you want to pit those. But I know, Charlotte, didn't you say they're a little more, the texture is a little different on them too? They're a little more like, the flavor's a little different than the...
Yeah, they're a little tougher.
Tougher.
A little more
chew to them, all right.
if you will.
I'm wrapping the date. Last one here. We're going to throw these bad boys in the oven. So these will be done in about 35 minutes, again, depending on, number one, how thick your bacon was, how well you wrapped them. But see, that's what I like. So that's why
No toothpick?
when you bake them, what are you saying? Is toothpick?
No toothpick?
Well,
I mean, I like that. That's one less step I have to do.
yeah, I mean, it's true. It is really true. So you don't have to do anything else. This is done. Save the manchego cream. You can stuff it inside of olives if you wanted to. Also another little appetizer you can do for your martinis. You don't like the blue cheese stuffed olives, though, do you, Charlotte, for your martinis? You're not a big fan of that, are you?
No, I do not.
What about a manchego cream stuffed olive in your martini? All right, 375 degrees.
No, I do not. I'll eat those on the side. I just don't want them in my vodka.
I'm flipping over my cutting board, clean surface. I have a sanitized rag right underneath there, ready to go. The manchego cream is done. All right, so we have our devils on horseback in the oven. They're going. So pretty much everything that we're going to do right now, you can be eating in the next hour, which is great. So including the sopes. So I've already got some stuff. All right, we're going to go over here. So go ahead and turn on your oil. We are going to be making some buffalo-style popcorn shrimp. Now, if you don't like buffalo sauce, that's okay. We have plenty of sauces out there. You could always do the, I love the sweet Thai chili with a little crispy shrimp. I love even like a little Parmesan, or even just like a scampi sauce would be delicious to do these in. The crispy buffalo-style popcorn shrimp. So I'm using a large P&D shrimp. Let me show you what I'm using here. This is what I'm working with. Wait for it. Nope, it's already out. So far ahead of myself, I went behind myself. Just these raw, peel and devein. So when you're thinking popcorn shrimp, you're like, gee, Scott, isn't a large shrimp not really a popcorn shrimp? Well, it all depends on the size of your hands and your mouth to me. So for me, the large is perfect because that way if I have a couple of different, can you see the shrimp? See the shrimpies? The shrimpies? My microphone. Can't see the microphone because I'm talking into it. These are great because they're larger, but when you cook them, obviously everything's going to shrink, right? So we're going to throw them in the water. We're going to allow these to thaw, and then once we cook them and everything, they are going to kind of curl up and be really small. You can see I've already kind of fried some up. We're not frying these in flour. We want these to be gluten-free, not really need to be, but I wanted to do it this way because that way if you have guests coming over, it's a really simple recipe. We're frying these in cornstarch as opposed to regular flour. So some differences in frying cornstarch versus flour. So cornstarch, I recommend never doing the double dredge. Like if we were doing regular flour, I'd say double dredge all day. However, the shrimp are small enough to where if you double dredge in cornstarch, there's a good possibility, and I only know because I tested this a few times, that you may get a little pocket of that cornstarch that's not quite cooked all the way, and when you go bite into that, that's like
gummy.
Just imagine taking a spoonful of cornstarch, and then you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
You know, cornstarch just stays crunchier longer. Like when you put the sauce on it, it just
holds
up to that.
And
you
don't get as much of a burn effect. I don't know if you can see these right here. This doesn't get as like super golden dark brown. It just gets a really nice kind of light color. Now, the great thing about this recipe, again, if we're talking about like this is great for tailgating. However, this is also good if you want to make this as a just regular like, hey, weeknight meal to kind of stretch your, hey, school's back, everything's happening, right? Like this is a great way to kind of like, you do this recipe and you can add it with noodles, scampi sauce. You can just do it over rice. You can, there's a million different ways you can kind of go with it. It's a really, really simple recipe. So I've got my cornstarch right here. I'm firing up my oil. I'm gonna let this get nice and hot. So a couple of things about frying. So the oil is gonna get to about 375 is where we wanna go because I'm gonna add cold shrimp to the oil. Now, just because I've got them soaking in buttermilk, which I'm gonna do in a second, I'll show you. So we're gonna add some cold shrimp to this, so automatically, obviously the temperature is gonna go down, right? So we don't wanna be sitting at like 200-degree oil because we're not trying to confit the shrimp like we did with the pork belly or the chicken, which is what we want, low and slow in oil. We want it deep fried. So we want to fast fry, crisp up the skin, get it everything tight, because if you fry it too low a heat, you are going to get some of the skin will start to peel off because it didn't have that time to kind of like set up and get all, gelled on there. Otherwise, it just kind of starts to fall off. So if you notice that maybe your oil is too low, so always kind of, just keep that in the back of your mind. All right, our shrimp. So we need to get these soaking for a little bit. I got a little buttermilk. This is really, really easy, and you could do this with anything. Now, for those of you...
like chicky nuggies?
Exactly. Those of you that are vegans, you could also do this with cauliflower florets. You could take your cauliflower florets, do the exact same thing. If you were going to make this vegan, kind of do like a, cauliflower style shrimp, I would blanch your cauliflower florets first until they're a little bit softer, so that way you're not working with a super hard, and just know When you're frying any vegetable that has been poached in any kind of liquid, there's a lot of liquid in vegetables. Just be wary. Maybe have a little screen over your fryer. Exact same way. Jump in cornstarch. You can soak them in the buttermilk. Same thing. Really, really easy. So I got a little buttermilk here. This is about 2 pounds of shrimp. I kind of split up my batch, so maybe a little more or a little bit less. Enough over the top here. I'm going to season with a good pinch of salt and pepper. So at every stage, we want to give a good pinch of salt and pepper. I'm just going to give these a little toss. And those are going to hang out for about 20 minutes. We're going to fry these the last thing tonight. We're going to fry these guys up because I want them nice and fresh. Because we're doing kind of a tailgate party, I'm going to kind of go, when things are done, I'm just going to plate them. We're just going to go and plate them because that's kind of how this is, right? You got guests waiting on you. So this is just a little toss in this. So the buttermilk's going to do two things. Number one, it's going to impart a little bit of flavor. It's going to give it a little bit of tang. However, it's also going to act as a tenderizer like it does for our fried chicken. Although we're working with less surface area. Back in the fridge, those go. Since we have less surface area on the shrimp, we don't need to soak them 24 hours. You can soak them for 20 minutes and they'll be just fine. All right, move this guy over here to a place where I can't see it. And I'm gonna grab I have our steaks, I have our shrimp. What am I at? All right, let's do this. Sopes. All right, so our sopes is still going.
I want one of those so bad.
Did you set a timer for me?
I will.
Did I ask you to? I didn't.
I'll set the timer.
We're gonna give it 3 more minutes because you can see this. Check this out.
You want 3 minutes?
Yeah, we'll do 3 minutes because I want to show you this real fast. These are my
Gotcha.
sopes. So you see they're starting to bubble up a little bit? You probably can't see it at the top. That was a good Scott. You see that? You see the contrast at the top shot? They're kind of bubbling up a little bit. They're getting a little stiffer. That's what we want them in. A little sprayed with a little oil. That's all we needed. These are really good deep fried, but since we're frying two things.
I love those guys deep fried.
They are really good, but since we're frying shrimp, I didn't want to like double fry. I don't know if that was weird. I don't know if it's taboo.
No,
I
don't think so.
No, it's not taboo? You're telling
Nah.
me I could have. We're going to cook the steak. So if you saw the recipe and you're like, Scott, why in the world would you use beef tenderloin if you're just going to cut it, dice it real small and cook it? Well, 2 reasons. Number one, I love the grass-fed beef tenderloin. We're kind of doing a little surf and turf, so we're trying to take it up a notch with our filet. Now, you don't have to use beef tenderloin. I like these because our grass-fed program, if you've seen them, they're great. You walk up to your local meat market counter at H-E-B, and they'll have these great kind of cuts of meat just sitting there, ready to go. Cryovac, vacuum packed, already trimmed, ready to buy and cut up like I'm going to show you. But you can use any cut of meat if you want. Now, if you want to, you can always get some of our fajitas, our Pleason's fajitas. Another way, there's like 1,000 things you can do to top on your sopes. So it's like, you could take the jalapeno poppers, roast them, grill them, chop them all up, put them on top with cheese. Like there's a million ways. You can go completely vegetarian, vegan if you wanted to, and do roasted vegetables covered with a little bit more vegan cheese or regular cheese if you're vegetarian. Like just, there's a million possibilities.
I'm kind of liking this tenderloin. So like,
I do too.
You know, you can tenderloin for a crowd, right? So you spread it out. It's not
exactly.
Not everyone's getting a whole steak, and
I love it. Super tender, so it stays really tender even when you overcook it. So I like to kind of get those. I like those little crispy bits. So I like to cut it a little bit smaller and kind of get the crispy bits on there. So I've already got some that is cool and ready to go. I've also got my beans cooked down with my lime juice. That's already also ready to go. But let's cook some tenderloin here. Got a lot of things happening. I've got another little surprise for you as well a little bit later. Because I wanted to show you guys also the fact that when you go to when you're trying to entertain, it's natural that you're going to kind of go and you're like, well, we need something to kind of snack on. Like what else we can do? If we're going to cook something, you're going to grill out. You know, in the meantime, what do? Right? You want to do like some vegetables, a little.
So I'm guessing there's no crock pot full of cheese at your tailgate.
You know, it just depends. It really depends. There could be. It all depends on, I'm a big kind of get inspired by what you see at the store. So if I was walking by and I saw, if you haven't seen the brisket quesos, if you've walked by your local H-E-B's meat market counter or the Meal Simple counter and you see the trays of the brisket queso, if you haven't tried it, you really should because it's pretty amazing. All right, I just cut my fillets in half, and because they're so tender, I'm going to kind of flatten them down here. I'm just going to kind of cube them up just like this. So I'm going to give them a little rough chop here.
I would kind of like that slice seared and put on a sandwich, please.
Yeah, a little, and I'm not doing a ton on the sopes. You don't need a ton of the beef. It's just a little bit, just to give a little extra oomph. Again, if you are a frequent rotisserie chicken buyer, these sopes with the rotisserie chicken, just try to shred it off with some cheese and some pico de gallo.
Your timer scared me.
Who's calling? Who's calling you? Who is it?
That's your timer. That was 3 minutes.
If it's Willard, you better answer.
No.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to pull those sopes out right now to get them cooling off. So later on, because we're going to do these are going to be double cooked. So we're going to cook them first to kind of get them a little bit kind of crunchy, just to kind of set them. And then once they've cooled, we're going to refill them back up with everything. All right, so a little tenderloin here. Our bacon wrapped dates are in the oven. They are going. They're going to start to smell really, really good here. So again, a little chop, just not much, just a little chop on these guys.
And what is that by weight, Chef? How much do you think that is?
This is about, I think this was about, close to 12, 13 ounces maybe,
Okay.
I think it was. Because one of them was a little bit bigger and one of them was a little bit smaller. So just, yeah, it depends. Maybe 14 ounces, call it. Now this, if it was a whole different show, this would be your tartare thing, where I would take this and make it awesome, and it would be a little raw tartare thing, which is also delicious. Not what we're doing right now, but also delicious. All right, I'm going to take my little bench scraper here. I'm going to go right over here. Look at this. Come on.
Look at that.
This is why you have gloves and the big hands to put it in there.
Don't try to be a hero, okay? You can't.
I got it. I got all of it. Look at that. Why have an extra?
It's okay, folks, at
Extra
home
tool.
if you need to use a bowl or two hands
You're
or make
absolutely
two
right.
trips.
I'm going to move this cutting board out of the way. I have properly sullied it. And I have the next one down. All right, for this seasoning, so I like to use, you can use a little salt and pepper for this if you wanted to. I love this little Morton's Nature seasoning. It's just got a little garlic, a little onion powder, salt, pepper, a little bit of sugar to help brown, and a little bit of celery seed or celery salt, which I love. Just gonna give it a little more oomph to it. Again, it's all about kind of like creating all the flavor. Later on, I'm gonna show you the cheese we're using, which is a smoked Havarti. Again, any kind of cheese you want to use is totally fine. Now you're going to get a little purge from this, which is totally fine. I'm going to crank up the heat a little bit. I'm using my K&T titanium pan here. I wonder if the titanium pans would stop a bullet. I'm not going to test it, but I just wonder if they're strong enough to where if I needed to and I had one, I could all right. I don't feel like it was enough seasoning. Let me give a little more.
I want to know what everybody's
with my
favorite go-to tailgate dish is.
What everybody's favorite what is?
Go-to tailgate dish. Like, I want to hear.
Go-to tailgate. I mean, I feel like, it's pretty classic to have queso. And like nachos, like your big nachos. All right, we're gonna make a vegetable dish. So if you go to your, again, not gonna throw any shade on this, but if you go to your local H-E-B and you're like, hey, you know what, I need to grab, like a veggie tray or something. My biggest problem with the veggie tray is that typically in the veggie tray, you're gonna have the dip in the middle, whether it's ranch or blue cheese or whatever that dip is, the French onion, whatever that one is. And like when it runs out at the party, like it's gone, right? The dish is over, it's dead. Like nobody's like, oh, I'm just gonna eat the broccoli raw. Like very few people, maybe the carrots, maybe the peppers, but like for the most part, it's all done. So it's like, why not take your vegetables, infuse more flavor so when the dip is out, you can still have all the flavor. So we're gonna blanch some vegetables.
Okay.
And this is a mixed bag. This doesn't have to be exact, but if you're on Facebook, you can check these guys out. Click on the links. A little broccoli and cauliflower mix, the broccolini and some just green beans. Blanched off, really salty water with some lemons. I took about 1 lemon, kind of squeezed it, let the rind sit in there, get it nice and cooked up. And that way, we're gonna blanch them for about 2 minutes, just to lightly cook them, but it's gonna soak up some of that flavor. So we've got this lemon, salty. So now, if we run out of our dip, it's okay because you can still eat the vegetables, they'll still have some flavor to them. So this is going. All right, Charlie, ready?
I am ready.
It's a lot happening on that stove. It's all happening together. I'm gonna put all this in together. Now, what you're gonna wanna have set up, waiting, is a ice bath ready to go. So I've got some water, I add some ice to it, and I've let it melt over there so it's nice and cold. So when you take it out, we want to immediately stop the cooking process. So we've got nice boiling hot water, our lemon water, you can see the color in here. The green beans go in, broccolini. All right, 2 minutes, chef.
You want to?
Now, obviously,
okay.
Same size vegetables are going to cook at the same time. So I'm using a little bit, it's a little risky what I'm doing because some of the vegetables might cook a little faster than the others due to the size of some of the cauliflower and broccoli in here. So if you were going to do it on your own, you could also just cut them up a little easier and make them all the same size. About 2 minutes in this salted water. Now, if you want to keep the salt, because I know there's somebody out there going, hey, isn't it if you add them to your ice bath here, won't they kind of rinse off some of the salt? True. It may rinse off some of it, not all of it, because it's going to kind of absorb some, but I also salt my water that I'm going to actually cool them off in. So I'll salt that as well. So our meat getting, I'm going to let this go. I want this to be like those little crunchy edges is what I want on my beef here. So I'm going to keep cooking that. Again, it's tenderloins, nice and simple. All right, should we fry some shrimp? Well, let me make this first. If you haven't watched our program yet, you'll know this that we like to use this Vitamix. I love to use a smaller blender at home, the Loaster blender. We have a Vitamix here, so we like to use it. We also have taken the risk so far. We're batting 1,000. We have not had an eruption that has splashed up on our Sky
Statistically speaking, you are due for a giant mess, and I'm not going to help you clean it up because I warned you.
When that happens. All right, we're going to make our Feta dip. So the Feta dip, the spicy Feta dip, is literally 6 ingredients. It's some crumbled feta cheese, like a little H-E-B crumbled feta cheese. I'm using the jalapeno. Now, I have no real aromatics in this, being like onions or garlic or something like that. So I'm just using the jalapeno, and I'm also kind of a spice wuss when it comes to that kind of thing, which is fine if you are as well, but I love the flavor of this. I'm like, yes, it's a little spicy, so when I eat this, it gives me a little like, but there's something about the feta and the jalapeno, how they play together, and I love that. So give it a try. Now, if you want to make something a little bit different, another great way you can make this kind of shine is some green onions. You can throw a little garlic in there. Don't do this right now because I just touched the jalapeno. Remind me, Charlotte. Don't let me down on this.
On what?
A little oregano, about a half a teaspoon.
Your timer, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. 2 minutes is up. Thank you, Chef.
2 minutes.
All right, here we're going to do. We're going to evacuate our veggies here. So look at that. They hold on to their color. A little chlorophyll kind of sets in there. And that blanched water into the ice bath. There we go. This is a great way to do any kind of a vegetable dish. Doesn't have to be just for the little crudité platter. It can be for really anything. Throw the lemons in there too. That extra flavor is not going to hurt them. I'm going to turn that guy off. I'm going to check on this guy.
I kind of wish you were going to lightly batter the vegetables and fry them along with the shrimp. There, I said it.
Ooh, I could do that. God, it smells so good. The jalapeno, the feta, and the oregano and the cumin all together right now is like game over.
So right. I've got a bet going with the audience to see if this explodes on you or not. So
you know,
I'm getting a big payday.
I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm actually a little nervous now because there's a lot of heavy ingredients sitting in this.
You can still use a lid, Chef. There's no shame in the lid game.
Oh, yes, there is. Rob and I aren't scared, are we, Rob? Okay. Also, I don't know what this camera costs, so we're going to take a shot. All right, so we're going to start on very low speed. I just want to, is it weird that I want to? Wait for it. It's those jalapenos. Wait for it. Here we go. Uh-oh, that's what makes me nervous. It stalls. It's going to go boom.
Uh-oh. Notice, folks, he does have the lid up there just in case.
I got it. Here we go. So far, we're still good.
Also, if you're going to put anything in your blender, please turn it off before you throw a spoon in there.
That's right.
Okay.
There we go. Just a little air pocket. Wait. Ooh, here it goes. I think we're almost there. One more turn. Just one more turn? I feel like we should do one more turn. We're almost there. Now, this recipe does call for you to be in a food processor, so it works a little bit better in a food processor,
can add a little more.
That's no fun.
If you don't have a food processor, you can use your blender and you can just add some liquid. So a little bit of cream, maybe, sour cream.
We could add a little bit. I'm actually going to add just a touch of water and see if we can't make some magic happen here. All right, let me grab my grab a little cup here. Just
Put a
wait.
little of that buttermilk in there, Chef.
Buttermilk? No, I don't want to. I've got olive oil already in there, so I don't want to go crazy and
I won't tell you
let's
how
try
to,
this. You ready for this?
You know.
Now we're going to be in trouble. This is where the poor ceiling cam may get sacrificed here. I'm hopeful. You know, Rob, they thought it couldn't be done again and again and again. They thought it couldn't be done. And what did we just do? We made history. We did it again. No spills this time. Let this set up because it's going to be a little bit loose right now, but after an hour or so, it's going to look like this. So here is our dip now. So with the vegetables, you leave this out at room temperature. It's going to coat the veggies really, really nice. Just like that. All right, so our veggies are ready. Ready for this? Let's plate this up. I'm ready. I want this
I'm
out
ready
so we can
too.
start eating it. We're going to see how I can make
Wait,
this work.
what's happening?
Smell this. What do you think? Is that good enough for you?
Ooh la
You want a
la.
Let's go a little. We'll go a little more. A little more. All right, spicy feta dip in here. Again, great way to really kick this up. Make it your own. Little green onion, a little garlic, a little smoked paprika. You can really kind of do it. Use the same proportions. Just change up the spices a little bit. All right, spicy whipped feta. I've got let me grab my gloves so I can put this on. My blanched vegetables I did a little earlier.
Let me see those guys.
Come on, right?
You
So
know,
you
I do
could-
appreciate a blanched green bean. It's such a better eating experience.
So the chlorophyll kind of sets, right? There's kind of that chemical reaction that happens when you kind of blanch them, which kind of sets the color, so they stay a little more, that kind of, that pretty bright green.
The
So-
chlorophyll.
I'm going to kind of throw some of these guys around there. So they're soft, but they're not like completely, falling apart, like, gross, where you'd be like, oh, this is nasty. But they're good enough to where you can eat them on their own. Oh, Charlotte, this may not work. It's all going to fall
I
in
feel
there.
like you chose poorly. That is a poor vessel for.
Look, it was all we could find at the time.
Was it?
Well, I mean, it was all I could.
I think
All right,
it,
well,
it
look, it was the
actually
first thing I
looks
saw.
okay.
Okay?
Should we vote? Do y'all think his bowl is good, or should we?
What really matters is that we just dip.
There you go.
It's so good. It's so spicy. One more. All right. You guys are eating. So, okay, there's a dilemma, right? If you find yourself doing this, football season, you're hosting a lot of games, you're doing a lot of stuff, I can smell the beef. Don't ask me why I just pointed to my ear when I said I can smell. I think I have a little smelling sensors in my ear as well. All right, that is good. I'm gonna let that cool off. It's really, really crispy. It's exactly what we want it to be. Spicy whipped feta. Our sopes are cooling. Ooh, the bacon.
What
What's
else
that?
could we use that whipped feta for? Like a sandwich, a salad dressing?
So the manchego is a great spread because look at how thick this sets up. This is a whole nother thing as well. So if you're watching big into college games, Saturday, that's your day. NFL, Sunday, obviously. But if you're doing, you can make it on Friday for Saturday. You can make it on Saturday for Sunday. It'll hold up. You can make great sandwiches using this. 'Cause
Oh,
again,
but
it's
what
got
about
cream
Monday?
cheese.
Because isn't there like a Monday night thing?
There is, yeah, but I mean, it's like, it's not the weekend, so it's kind of like, I mean, you could definitely dress up your Monday night football party for sure. But it's thick enough to where it'll spread and be a great, like, on anything. It's
need
also
a
really good on
cracker.
both the manchego and the feta. I have manchego labeled because this is the wrong label for it. They're both, the feta and the manchego are great accompanied with fish. Like to put them on side of fish is really good as well. All right, let's fry some shrimp.
Yes, please.
You ready for this? So our buttermilk shrimp. Now this is I'm not gonna lie to you. This can get a little bit messy, and that's okay. I've got my oil here. I have no idea what the temperature is because I lost my thermometer. But you know what? That's sometimes how things go. All right, to flavor this, I got some garlic and mustard powder. So a good amount,
Okay.
about a tablespoon of the mustard powder into the cornstarch. It's about a tablespoon.
You know, Tompkins, I'm sitting here and I'm a little bit embarrassed because when I did Super Bowl treats and eats, I made copycat White Castle sliders and, and wings. And you're like, beef tenderloin, sopas, and crudité.
Well, hey, it's all about, now you need a big whisk, or you can use Barbie's first whisk, that I'm going to use right here. This is
that's
also
my
gets the
favorite
job.
whisk. I thought I
Good
gave you
job
my
done.
favorite whisk.
Yep, Barbie's first whisk, so you can never get hurt with a whisk like
No,
this.
it's
There's
just
really
a great,
no chance that
I
you're
like
going to
it.
hurt yourself.
I like that whisk, y'all.
This is the
I
best we
picked
could
that
do.
for
This
him.
is all I could, we'll make it work. All right, you're going to whisk all that stuff together here. Again, we season the mixture the shrimp is sitting in, and we're seasoning the actual cornstarch itself. So you want to make sure at all layers we're flavoring this. So I'm going to plate these up. I'm going to put it in a bowl. I'm going to hit it immediately with my, we voted earlier, we're going to do the medium. So if you like spicy, you can always go with the spicy sauce. If you like Frank's Red Hot, if you like sweet Thai chili sauce, whatever you want to do, anything will work. It's totally fine. So I'm going to pull this little guy out. It's been bothering me. You know what? He wants to stay in there and float. We'll let him float. All right. So gloves. This is where at your house you want to set up a little breading station. Typically, I would have a sheet pan underneath me. This is where you could kind of keep yourself out of trouble and keep cleanup to a minimum. Cornstarch is very fine and tends to like stick to everything. Like it goes everywhere. So you kind of do, I did that for your benefit, not for mine. I'll have to clean that up in a little bit. But I'm going to do a handful because, again, this has been sitting in the fridge. So we're going to bring down the temperature of our oil quite a bit. So I'm going to put just about a handful in here and just fry these in batches. And just go in batches. That's all you need to do. And give this a toss. I try to do I never do the wet hand, dry hand thing right. Charlotte does a much better job at the wet hand, dry hand. Because as soon as I start to do the wet hand, dry hand, I start to look like the monster with the club foot. It's like you get that like, you know, this just going back and forth. Because I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, no, I'll just do the same hand because it makes sense because it's already dirty, right? That's just that's my thought.
You can wash your hands intermittently between, you know.
No, it's not an option. It's not an option at all. Can't walk away from all this.
Used a dry hand and a wet hand, we wouldn't have a problem.
Or just do, you see how we're, all right, can you see this?
This
right,
is also a great idea, using a spider. That's
so a
smart.
little slotted spoon or whatever to kind of drain off. Let's just see how hot we are here, shall we?
Okay, so you don't have a thermometer and you are testing the oil. Tell everybody what you're looking for, please.
So I'm seeing if it starts to fry, if I got little bubbles, and I do. See how now I'm gonna add all these. It's gonna start to foam, but I'm gonna immediately bring the temperature of the oil way down. So if it was hot, it's gonna definitely get cooler.
Because the shrimp are cold.
Because the shrimp are cold.
Okay.
So that's why you want to kind of fry in batches, because it may be hot now, but I guarantee you the temperature of this oil probably dropped a good 20 to 30 degrees, if not more. All right, little tong here to kind of keep them from sticking together here. Just move them around. Cornstarch is very, very sticky, so you'll start to notice they'll get very, very stuck together here. Can you smell the dates and the bacon? Ooh, buddy.
I'm starving.
Well, I got a lot of food. See what I mean? Like, look at that. I mean, this is like, wear an apron, use your sheet pan, kind of contain a little bit of the mess that's going on here, and then have a spider ready to go here. I have my other one right over here. My big spider. I got a lot. These fry pretty quick. Now, you can see here, these shrimp were completely fully cooked, right? These guys, they were nice and crispy. They're done, but they don't get super dark and golden brown. So a nice thing, too, about cornstarch is they don't get quite as brown or as golden as that one, so they kind of stay a nice lighter color, which works really well because if you're trying to hit it with a sauce, it's going to do a little better. So you can see the adhesion here because we're nice and hot, but you see how the oil, it was like going crazy, so I'm going to crank up the oil. If we use a fryer, we have commercial fryers, those big ones, and like fryers in restaurants, it's not a problem because you'll put it at 350, you add a bunch of cold stuff to it, it fries, well, it automatically knows to heat the oil back up to keep it maintained, whereas if you're home frying like we are here, we're doing like you guys do, so we've got a Dutch oven, it can sometimes go a little more awry. All right, so these guys are frying up here. I'll do another batch in a second, but we're getting pretty close. Almost evacuation time. Then it's time for the sopes. How much time I got left? Am I good on the sopes?
Was I supposed to have a timer?
Perfect.
My bad.
I've got some time. All right,
Yeah,
while those
you
are
got
frying.
plenty of time. You're good, man.
While those are
you.
frying, these are our sopes we cooked up earlier, you'll remember. I even have some that I have over there on the rack that I pre-did, just to make sure we had them all set, but actually they turned out very, very well.
Are you using black beans or regular refried pintos?
I'm using the jalapeno refried beans. Ooh. It really doesn't matter whatever bean you want to use. You can totally, if you wanted to, you can use hummus in this if you want to.
Okay, I mean,
it totally depends on however you want to do it.
So yes,
if you like refried black beans better than refried pinto beans, totally fine. Look at this. I want you to come get one of these. I want you to hear this.
Yeah, throw one at me.
This?
I'll catch it in my mouth
throw you
like
a
hibachi.
375-degree shrimp. That sounds like that sounds like a good idea. Should I do that? Hey, you ready?
Haven't you ever been to like, you know,
the Seattle seafood market where they're not throwing you 375-degree shrimp? All right, so in the recipe, it's going to tell you to cook down your beans with a little bit of lime juice just to infuse them with a little bit more flavor. And we're going to do just this very easy step here with our beans. So in the sope, again, this is a blank canvas that you can do anything you want with. I love this for the weekdays because it's so much easier than doing so many other things where you're like, I don't feel like doing this today. I don't feel like making whatever I was going to make. And you're just kind of in a rush. versus like having to go out and do something. You're like, you know what? We have those sopes. We got some beans. Throw them down here. And I'm not even doing them hot. I cooked these earlier just to kind of get them done, just to kind of prove a point here. Fill them up. Just kind of fill them again.
Look at this guy.
They're perfect little cups. They're going to hold the beans beautifully. I got my meat that I've already done that was cooled. Again, this can all be done in advance. You could do this whole thing Saturday in preparation for Sunday, have everything in little containers, and then when it comes time, you just dump them in there. So for making these quick, so you don't have to man the kitchen the entire time, you can have these all done. You can have your steak done, your beans done, everything ready to go, your cheese shredded, and these pre-cooked and ready to go. When it comes time to like start, where game time's coming, everybody's coming over, set your broiler to high.
Okay.
Set the rack 4 to 6 inches underneath the broiler, and then just
Okay.
add the cheese and everything I'm going to show you. Put it on the broiler, 3 to 5 minutes until everything's crumbly and kind of melty. Not crumbly.
Wait,
That's not the right adjective. That's a terrible adjective. Crumbly. Don't do that when they're crumbly.
Melty and crispy.
Melty and crispy.
Crispy,
Thank
bubbly.
you.
You know what I'm obsessed with right now, since
What are you
we're
obsessed
talking
with?
about refried beans, is the Mi Tienda refried beans in the market that are refrigerated.
Oh yeah, the bag.
The
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bag,
absolutely.
and you could just snip the corner of that
And pour it in. Yep.
Pour those beans
Exactly.
right into those things. Also, those
Any
are
bean you
some
want.
legit, delicious refried beans.
Yes, they are.
They're my
I've heard they're
favorite.
very, very authentic as
Oh,
far
they're
as
so
refried
good.
beans
They
go.
even have one that has chorizo in it. Yum, also
Wow,
delicious.
I haven't seen that one. All right, you saw I started running beans, but I didn't panic. I did a little bit. I talked myself down a little bit. I was panicking a little bit, but I was managed to just took some beans from another one that was way too bean heavy, and we made it all work. Selfish bean heavy soap that was on there. All right, my smoked Havarti. Do you want to say it or should I?
What? Smoked
Havarti?
Havarti?
It's
Is
not
it-
a party without.
Havarti? Oh
Come
no, I
on.
wasn't there. I didn't know that.
There are 4 different post oak cheeses you can get. I think they're going to flash up on the screen. We have our fantastic post oak smoked Havarti that I'm going to use. We have a mozzarella, a Gouda, and a cheddar. We also have an entire line that's not going to flash up on the screen because it's probably way too many things to put on there, of post oak smoked geeks that are fantastic. Visit your local HEB deli, and there's all kinds. I like the Havarti. Typically, when I make the sopes at home, between you and I use Oaxaca cheese. I love Oaxaca. It's mild, it melts beautifully, and we carry it now in the Hill Country Fair, the big, I think it's 2-pound bag, 3-pound bag. Fantastic melty cheese. I like the smoked Havarti for this because it got a little steak. The Havarti is kind of like, it's kind of flirting with being a cheddar. It's like it's got a little sharpness, but it's not, and it melts really, really clean. And out of all the smoked cheeses, I like this one because it's got some smokiness, but it doesn't overpower the actual flavor of the cheese. So we're going to bookend this guy. So a little cheese on top of the, I guess as much as you want.
I want a lot of cheese on mine.
All right, I got you,
Please.
chef. I got you.
Thank
A little
you.
cheese to kind of, again, this is the glue that's going to kind of hold the beans together here. It's going to do our steak in the center, and then we're going to top it with more cheese. Now, this is where like you could really go crazy. You raid the HEB produce
Oh, y'all
section.
see mine?
You grab
Y'all see
your
mine and all the extra
salsas
cheese?
and you grab all that stuff, right? You grab your avocado, your guacamole. You grab your salsas.
You know, you could do like a little
pico.
a little bar.
Absolutely.
Have all the bowls
Build
out
your
there,
own
and people
sopes.
could build their own.
I'm telling you, this meal during the week is like game changer, and it's fantastic, and it's really, really easy. And I promise you, you will eat every single sope in the pack. I promise. Because I'll eat at least 4 or 5, 7, maybe, depending on what mood it is. All right, that's it. Cheese over the top again to kind of hold all this together. I'm going to pile it up because I just want you to see how great these look. I'm going to crank our oven up just because I really want to try and make sure you have time to see all the goodness of this melty cheese. I'm going to toss our shrimp and our sauce here.
Go big or go
Oh,
home.
go big and then go home big. That's how you do it. All right, here we go. A little cheese
we're
over
all
the top.
going to Tompkins' house for
Here's all
the big
cheese.
game or whatever.
Bam! All right, let's do the bacon wrap dates. I can smell they're done. They're ready to go. Again, all this stuff we're doing within the hour, right? We're still good. I still got some time. All right, the beef is done. That's going to move out of the way. The shrimp. Let me do this. These shrimp are nice and hot right now. They've had a chance to kind of cool off. Let me get my big bowl over here, and we'll do a little popcorn shrimp in the bowl. So I want to show you a technique that typically we'll do in restaurants, we're trying to do a salad or something, so you don't wilt the greens or don't make it all crazy. You pour the sauce around the outside of the bowl. Let's give it a quick shake first. Good thing I make sure to tighten this so it didn't go everywhere. Roll it around the outside of the bowl, kind of like that. Toss it in, and then as you're moving it, you kind of toss it through the thing. Same in the greens. If you pour the salad or the sauce right on top of the greens, can you hear the crunchy? You hear they're kind of hitting the bowl there? So as you move it around, like a lot of sauce or a little sauce, Charlotte?
Enough sauce, like
just enough sauce.
a bathing suit. Enough.
Just enough to cover
the details.
The details. All right, buffalo shrimp. Again, really, really easy. Now, if you come to my house and you're doing I'm doing buffalo shrimp, I'm doing one round because I'm not going to stand there and fry shrimp all night. So I'll do one good round of shrimp, kind of right in the middle. But I'll do sopes and everything else all day long here. Uh-oh, this may not fit on my plate. Uh-oh, uh-oh.
I feel like the ones that fall on the cutting board are like the bag fries. If they're in the bag, they're mine.
Hang on, we got this.
Sorry, they're fair game.
They are?
Yeah.
We're clean here. We're good to go. All right, now, the only thing this needs is a couple of, what do you need? Some celery sticks, right? Some blue cheese dressing, which I don't have. But to kind of complete the effect here.
You know, throw some of that manchego stuff over the,
You want me to throw some on there?
not on it, but.
You want like Jackson Pollock style? What do you want, chef?
No,
You tell me.
Or you could
No?
get some of that spicy feta dip would taste good.
You just want a little bit on the side as my,
Yeah.
okay, I got you. I was going to have more fun with the Jackson Pollock style, but
Nah.
you know. Still no, huh?
I feel like this is my own personal meal right now. And I'm like, chef, please do this for me.
All right.
And something else. And perfect.
Better?
Yes, thank you.
Now, I wasn't planning on that, so you'll notice I don't have a nice bowl to put that in
That's
because I wasn't
okay.
really ready for it. All right, sopes are in the fridge. All right, our bacon wrap dates. Check this out. Watch this. Bacon wrap dates. This has been going the entire time we've been talking here.
Ooh la la.
So you'll notice we didn't get any of the unraveling kind of happening, right? They all stayed together. Well, this little guy may have. That's all right. He'll go back together. But that's why when you start with that room temperature bacon, you get a little more of that pull on it, so it'll really kind of like stay nicely. And these guys are really hot, so be careful. Just pull them right up. And I have some right over here. I'm going to put these in the warmer oven to cool off. And I got these guys. These guys are ready to plate right here. So I got my date plate. Feels weird saying that. Date plate? Kind of, sort of?
No.
No?
Sounds
It's okay?
good.
Okay. Devil's on horseback plate. All we need on this, a little bit of our dates here. Again, all those flavors kind of pushing and pulling, right? Little bacon wrap dates. These are also something that are great. You can make these in advance and reheat them the day of. The little devils on horseback with the manchego inside. Up, they're not all going to fit on there. They a couple for the back of the house.
Stack them up in the middle. Like on
All
top. Like, boop, there you go. Doop, doop, doop.
Oh,
Nailed it.
Man. Actually, you know what, Rob? Can I put that guy right here? Let's do that. Let's put him right there. Move this guy out of the way here. All right, the sopes. So all right, it's already melting, but I want to show you this. We'll see if we can do it in real time. You ready for this? I'm gonna go straight to broiler from here. This was not rehearsed. I want you to know.
So while you're doing that,
Canceling.
some of the
We're
awesome
boiling.
things that people said they liked for their tailgate was we got
hear
queso
it.
with chorizo and some chicharron. We
Yep.
have some tortilla pinwheels, which sounds delicious.
That also
and
does sound
then
really good.
some jalapeno poppers with quail. I'm
Jalapeno
loving
poppers
all
with quail?
of these things that people are talking about.
Those are all really, really great things. Should we do another, our oil here, nice and hot. You can see this, skim that guy out. Our shrimp there. Our vegetables ready to go, the shrimp. Everything all coming together nicely. So the great thing about all this is this can all be done relatively far enough in advance. The dressings, 100%. The manchego and the feta dip can also be done way in advance. Those are the ones you really want to kind of have time to set up because that's where all that real flavor comes in. So doing them on a Friday for a Sunday is going to allow a couple days for those flavors to all kind of marry. Again, completely customizable, right? So you can add, if you want to add green onions to it, you totally could. The medjool dates, really, really easy. Again, Make them ahead of time, reheat them in the oven, throw them out there, the dip,
okay,
have everything poached off.
Let me see those guys. Those cheesy, delicious
look at that.
guys.
See how they're starting to get, it doesn't take very long, right? We're starting to get cheesy. We're not there yet. Not there yet.
Oh, man.
Let them go for just a second.
You're killing me. He's killing me.
Killing me. All right. Let me do this. Let me plate up
so
one.
So impatient.
Oh, you know what I did?
What?
I plated the wrong thing on the wrong thing. You know, this is why we do rehearsal. And then you do
Nobody
rehearsal,
knows.
and then you forget.
How are they going to know?
Well, because I just told them. Because I want to be able to be honest with the audience and say, you know what, this is not how this is supposed to be. So I'm going to do the Sopes on the wood. That's what we'll do.
I think it's going to look really great and rustic.
It's going to look fine. I'm just going to have to get over it. All right, the ones in the back are ready. You ready for this? Here we go. I need my flat spatula. Do I have a Barbie's first spatula? I wonder if I can get one of those. Do you have one of those, Charlotte?
Listen,
like real tiny, like it's like this big.
I liked that whisk. I think it's appropriate. And not everyone is 6'5" with a wingspan of, I got nothing. I don't know where to go with
that's
this.
good. So you just throw some half information out there and then just let it. All right, I have a little guacamole on this bad boy. I'll eat that. That guy came up again, real tender meat, a little guacamole.
Oh my gosh.
Pico de gallo.
Look at the drippy cheese on the side.
Hot sauce, right? Melty cheese. Get it really caramelized. Ooh, where's my, there we go. See if we can cannelle. Let me try and cannelle.
Oh my God, you're killing me. He's killing me, y'all. I think he does it on purpose. He like draws it out.
It's too thin. I made it too thin.
Well, it looks perfect from where
All right, boom.
So good.
That is it, guys. It's really, really easy. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. Just don't forget to head to your local HEB or head to our website for great stuff. Again, all your tailgating needs. For sign up for more classes, I know next week coming up, we have Chef Charlotte hosting Johnny Hernandez for our Spanish Heritage Month. It's going to be a great class next week. If you want to sign up, go to heb.com/classes. If you missed something, don't forget, go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/HEB. Check out all the content from the past. It's been over a year, almost a year. We're coming up on a year.
Yeah.
My dates are a little off. I don't know when it is.
That's okay.
Almost a year. A lot of great content on there. A lot of celebrity chefs, guests, a lot of great folks who got on there. And of course, classes. Charlotte and I, anything you want to see, you want to miss, you can rewind, check it out. All that great stuff. Guys, thank you so much for watching on Facebook. Those of you watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Don't forget, you can buy those items, click on them, purchase them, and we will see you next time. God bless. Have a great week.
Tompkins, get those Sopes out of the oven.
Are they perfect?